Well, good morning, everybody. I'm over here at RCC. There's nothing really that we can do here yet, but I noticed that I had a bit of a problem on my tailgate the other day, and I'll be honest, I backed into something and it completely screwed up the paint. So I'm going to do what all logical farmers would do to their trucks when the beds become garbage, whether it's rust or they're just beat to oblivion. We're going to have a black flatbed put on this. I'm going to be able to use it anyway, and might as well let the boys at RCC take care of it. While they are doing that, it is early October. I can't get into the cornfields just yet. We will hopefully be getting into that this afternoon, but I'm going to take that case magnum since we really don't have any jobs to do and borrow Aurthur's seed drill once more to start drilling in some spring wheat. Just got to grab the logbook first. And we will start migrating over to get the seeder. Never mind, it's right there. I thought Aurthur would have came and got that by now. Aurthur gave me a lovely roadmap on the PDA when we head over to our plots. The ones that we're looking at planting into wheat are going to be the one just north of the co-op. It's got that grain bin site that I might try and buy at some point because it's old, but it's got a lot of storage. We also want 28, 33, and 11. We'll have more than enough work to satisfy us throughout the day, and by the sounds of it, that flatbed's going to take them at least 5 to 6 hours to get done. We're not going to top off the drill with seed, but I will get at least half a tank, which that works for me, $3,300, and that is for sure going to get us through the planting season. There's no way it doesn't. I have yet to get around to my new grass fields, but I probably will not be utilizing them to their fullest extent until next season. So the one plot up by the other pig farm and the Dorito field, both looking great. Growth State says they are ready to harvest. Might try and snatch one more of those after harvest season. But I want to make sure the wheat is in the ground first. That is because this is technically the last weekend of planting for spring wheat before crop insurance kicks off. And I would much rather get ahead of that curve than get behind it and get in trouble. If you guys are big fans of the First Gen Farming Series and Squad Farms in general, please be sure to help us get back in the algorithm by heading down below and maybe smashing that like button. Possibly consider subscribing. We have a lot of fun on this series, and I am going to be incorporating some newer series coming in the next few weeks. Rodney Adkins really describes how this farm is starting to grow. You ain't got a thing on me because I got friends with tractors. Ever since I started working at the co-op and meeting a lot of these other great farmers in the area, expanding and growing this farm has become mountains easier by literally miles. Come time at the end of the year when I gotta start paying my differences, that'll be a different story. But the farming community in itself is just such a great place to make a lot of great friends and a lot of great business partners. Daryl is currently back at the shop. He's greasing the corn head. He's getting the wagon hooked up to the 1206. We're pretty much about as ready to go as you're going to be able to get. And the turnaround this crop is supposedly going to promise just has me so excited to get into the field. We ourselves do not have a lot of ground for my own farm, but between working with Aurthur and the co-op's ground, my combine's going to be running quite a bit this season. I like breaking the fourth wall, and you know what time it is. I'll have you guys head down to the comment section and let me know. What are your thoughts on how I've been incorporating other jobs and quality of life features into this series? I feel it's absolutely fantastic. It's so cool that I can at least say I'm working with a farmers cooperative, I'm working with other farmers. It brings the diversity to this game that it doesn't make the world feel as empty. At the rate we are definitely growing, cattle by next season or the season following is definitely an option and a possibility. I will just have to be on the hunt for a cattle hauler that I can pull behind my new truck, or the flatbed on the truck. I'll pop up in the drone, we'll get the seeds running, and hopefully we'll be harvesting here in not too long.
Well, when I woke up, she was looking at me. She told me I've been cheating on her in her dream. Lord, it wasn't a thing I could do or say.
Wheat is looking good. Before I head north, I do want to check what my corn crop looked like. I'm pretty certain that these stalks were still doing really good, but it's still about a week out before we need to head into the field. Looks like it still needs a little bit of time, but let's check ourselves an ear. And that's got to be the most quality looking ear I've ever seen in my life. That's almost like photogenic, isn't it? Some good looking stuff. Nah, just kidding. Ears are looking about 90% full. This is some pretty good looking corn, I'm not gonna lie. We did a lot of work to get it where it was this year. Let's just hope that it pays off. I'm just really excited to see what my truck looks like. They gave me a call and said, hey, for an extra couple $100, we'll throw in some really nice rubber mud flaps. I took the deal. They said they already have the old bed off the back of the truck and that they're starting to work on attaching the new flatbed. Let's hope we can get that thing back today, because I definitely have some tasks that I could just use it for running stuff around the farm. Which, speaking of the farm, could technically migrate my way back over to check on Daryl and see how the setup of the equipment's going. Engage teleportation. Man, that 1206 looks really, really nice. I'd like to get a bigger wagon, but let's be real. I'd like to get an auger wagon and a nicer tractor. That thing's indestructible. I'm not doing anything against the 1206. I just would like to have a bigger piece of equipment. Combine is looking spiffy. Nice job, Daryl. I had to use the old farm all, but we finally got the old case header off the wall. If you didn't remember, it was kind of sitting a little vertically challenged. Don't ask me how. It got stuck. We're just gonna go with it. Settings are looking good on the back. All zerts appear to be greased. Corn header's looking fresh. Looks as though we might have to start servicing our rollers. They're kind of looking a little dull. And everything works smoothly. Beautiful. As for the old Farm All M, this thing it runs, but we're having some major problems. It's got a huge hydraulic leak, which is to be expected. I mean, it's sat in the brushes for who knows how many years, and there is a small oil leak. But I think this is really going to help us when we start getting into the cattle operation to help us move around either bales, if we get to round bales, or mainly manure, because we're going to need to buy a bucket and a manure spreader. That's a problem for another day. I think what you guys want to see is this thing getting in some action. So let's jump to harvest and commence the fun part. You ain't ever seen sexy until you've seen this. Say hello to the new work rig, baby. Them mud flaps look killer. It's also worth mentioning that they hooked me up with a stellar deal. With the flatbed and the mud flaps, they got me all the way down to $1,500 that it costs to do all that work. So big shout out to RCC for hooking me up with this fantastic flatbed. I promise you guys I will make it proud, but we are set to go to start harvesting our ground. When I looked at my PDA a little earlier, it seemed to be that Aurthur's stuff is not quite ready yet. It might still be about a week because he was behind me when I was planting. But I could see that yellow corn from here, baby. Oh, it looks so good. I wish we were ready to go all the way around, but I think it's time we start making some money back. We'll get the grain dryer fired up and the crops out of the field. Oh, if I had the ability to use AC/DC's Back in Black right now, this would be an absolutely stellar moment. Back in Black. I think we'll start with the ground behind the house to the east, and we could start moving our way around. Aurthur's likely going to have us run his equipment, but if I'm willing to offer it and I could keep a little bit more of a percentage, I'm just going to use my own combine. That makes the most sense to me. I am not going to lie, I was hecka confused. Look at the hopper on the combine. It still says I have a tiny bit of beans in there. At least I hope that's the problem. I like to note that we haven't even started the harvest and the combine's already broken. Stand by. Let's try that again. Little beans in the corn, it ain't gonna hurt. Just mix it in when you take it to the scales. There we go. Now we're pulling in the right crop. Might just run that little bit of scrap to the bins because it's not worth it taking it into town. The 1206 has its work cut out for it this year. We thought it covered a lot of miles doing hay work. With all the contracts we're gonna be doing, oh, she'll be moving. We put a lot of work and quite frankly, a lot of money into this crop. If this isn't 300 plus bushel corn, then I really don't know how to do my job and I need to call someone who knows how to do it better. Which that's probably a very long list of people. Separator is looking fantastic. Our fan speeds are perfect. And the best part, it's not throwing out any corn. Keeping it all in the hopper. Which I can't remember. Can you see behind you in this? No, you cannot. We haven't even gotten halfway around the field yet. And we're already at half a tank. That is crazy work. Let's see if we can flag down Daryl and get him over into the combine so I can take care of the wagon duties. Daryl, hey! Oh, here he comes. He saw me. That's got to be the most patriotic thing I've ever seen in my life. I need to do that to a bull barn if I ever get one. Hold on, Daryl. We'll be right back. I don't remember exactly how big these bins are and how much they hold. We certainly won't fill it up with our current crop. Yes, Daryl, I'm well aware that you're full. They're 10K bins. But now I'm down a bin because it's holding like 2 bushels of beans and you can't mix the crops. Oh, come on, Daryl. You're going to tell me that you couldn't get all the way around the headlands by 6 stalks in rows of 8? So in theory, 48 stalks? Wait. Yeah, I did get that right. Yay, Buck knows how to do simple math. No. Keep the pipe out, Daryl. Keep the pipe out. I'm gonna follow you. I would do the loading in reverse thing that I'm known for in Farm Sim, but let's be honest, if you were able to pull that off in this kind of a trailer, you would be an absolute legend. No, I'm not even gonna let myself think about trying it. I know where my limits are. That assures that he can get all the way back around to the entrance. We'll unload him again before he starts heading to the rows, and then it's off to the dryer. Man, would it be nice to have that grain bin site. It's also a really expensive buy, which quite frankly, I don't know how much that actually would cost. Hang on. $150,000? There ain't no... I better be able to drive that tractor off that bin site. Oh, shoot, there goes Daryl. Hold on. Daryl! My bad. I was paying attention. There's still a little room left in the hopper, but I think we'll just take it back to the bin. Won't hurt nothing. First load of corn heading into the hopper. We have 1 bushel of soybean. You're joking, right? 20% moisture on our corn. That's definitely going to need to be dried down. Now I just have to find the button that does that. Bin number 2. This stuff is bin number 2, right? Yes, it is bin 2. This must be a 300 bushel wagon. $22 to dry it. Let's just see if it got it all the way down. Yep, 16.3. Beautiful. I really wish that it took that long to dry corn. Never mind, it's taken more. Daryl's finishing out on the top half of the field, which is great. That is American right there. Holy cow, that is like a postcard shot. Absolute beauty. Dump, baby, dump. 1206 is pulling like a champ. Have no complaints whatsoever. If Daryl is completely full, it's 2 dumps to get roughly 80%. We are for certainly going to have a lot more grain than we did last year. I think with our beans last year, we only got, what, a trailer and a quarter? Maybe even just a trailer? No use in letting him fill up all the way. We'll just keep him running so that way he can stay consistent. In case anybody hadn't figured it out yet, the combine's going to dump wherever the wagon is underneath it. I thought it was kind of weird that the crop was dumping sitting the complete opposite way of the auger, and then I slid out and it adjusted. So there's your fun fact you can learn of the day if you never noticed it. Likely 4 more passes for Daryl, and this field's done, but I think I only got 2 passes left in me before this trailer is completely full. Maybe 3 if I'm lucky. Probably closer to 3. I'm gonna hypothetically say we got 2 full wagons out of that field, or just shy of it. Daryl has shifted over to the western field, is kind of tweaking the combine. We're 99% sure it's dialed in perfect, but you know, it doesn't hurt to double check, triple check, and quite frankly, quadruple check, especially when I don't have to pay him. 15% moisture. Well, that's about to change because we're throwing that sucker right in the vat. When is the best time to sell dry corn? July. Okay, looks like we might have some holding to do. Hang on, that works perfectly because we planted the wheat during this time. I'll be perfectly fine. We'll just go out and cut a couple more bales and run a few more grain contracts. Plus, we have all that stuff we can do with Aurthur. I'm not worried at all. Let's hold out. But more importantly, hold on. Oh, yep, Daryl has definitely started moving. That's all right, because if he just started, we don't have to worry about it until he gets all the way back to the start. I, for one, am going to get my drone set up. We'll catch ourselves those wondrous drone shots. So sit back, relax, and chill around with some great music.
Man, I always had stories about the city life and the crazy nights. Figure I should probably give it a try. Maybe check it out, see what it's all about. But the traffic was fast and the money was slow. The people I met you never get to know. I kinda miss this place I used to live back home.
I gotta hand it to my old iPhone, guys. Sometimes the game does crash because my phone doesn't have enough memory to support this, but the amount of stuff that I really do on it with this game, it's a trooper. This should top me off if I can open up my little menu. Yes, we are full. Most certainly not getting another full hopper out of the field. A little smaller, but 3 full wagons worth? Oh yeah, that's good enough for me. I think we got back in time. That hopper's looking pretty full if you ask me. But something that crossed my mind is Aurthur's bin site. I don't know where he wants me to put that corn. I'll have to give him a call on that, because if I'm gonna keep, let's say, 30% of the harvest if I use my own equipment, whoa, slipped out of gear. I don't know where I'm taking his portion. We will cross that road when we get there, but that's just a word of thought. Hang on. There is a chance I spoke too soon. I'm already halfway full. Hey, I'm not complaining. It's more money for me. It's most certainly a stretch, but the 7240 is my next combine upgrade. I'm not sure exactly what I can get for my combine, maybe 40, 50 grand. Well, we got a long way to go before we can afford $300,000 worth of machinery. With that combine, I believe I could run a 12 row. It'd be pushing it, but might even hook up with some buddies down at Farm Focused. The guys who did the upgrade tuning for Millennial Farmer, maybe? Last pass, Daryl. Oh yeah, look at that. Well, until we kick into contract season. Good things come to those who wait. It's definitely going to be a hard process to wait all the way till July, but I believe that is going to do it for us today on the First Gen Farm. Thank you guys all so much for tuning in. I hope you really did enjoy. Next episode, we're going to be getting into Aurthur stuff and quite possibly our own round of tillage. Be sure to head down below, smash that like button. We're going to have over 1,000 bushels of corn in the hopper. Make sure we start burning this stuff up and drying it out. Be sure to keep it light, keep it loose, keep it fresh, and most importantly, keep it fun. This is Squad Farms out. Peace.